Halo Infinite Content Update 31 is here. This new update is the day that desync dies because the network model overhaul is finally here, and we're going to answer the question in the video today: does the game feel better? Along with the network model update, we got easy anti-cheat on PC, 7 new squad battle maps added to the playlist, shifts to CSR for high-rank players, along with a bunch of other things we'll cover in today's video. Let's start with the big one here. The updated network model is in place. This should resolve a lot of the issues that players were having with desync. That means less rubber banding movement, you won't take damage around corners as often, and honestly the hit detection feels a lot more crisp. I played a few hours tonight and I can safely say, yeah, it feels more predictable, it feels less janky, I see less instances of players stuttering around, and overall it does feel a lot better. If you played a few months ago, you may remember there were some weird properties with the networking model when they were testing it. It does look like 343 has been able to resolve most, if not all, of those issues, but I'm going to leave the question up to you. Play some Halo Infinite, let me know in the comments section, how does the new network model feel to you? Tonight, when I played my matches, didn't run into anything weird, it felt crisp, and I'll tell you what, in the ranked hopper, it felt absolutely amazing, which is where I spend most of my time. Along with the new network update, we have 7 new maps that were added to the squad battle playlist, and they are all returning from previous games forged by the community. Perdition from Halo 4, Refuge from Halo 2, Timberland Evolve from CE and CEA, Rendezvous from, I think, ODST, right? And then Gyre from Reach, and Harvest from Halo 4, and then Behemoth, which comes from Infinite. Fun maps, Forgers did a great job. I played on them this evening. I really wish Squad Battle would give it a Bandit Evo start or a BR start variant. Maybe that's something they can do when the match composer arrives a little bit later this year. Along with the Squad Battle updates, there are weapon balance changes, starting with the Gravity Hammer. If you played this game anytime in the last few months, you know the Gravity Hammer has been a monster. And that is because a bug was in place that was doubling all of the Gravity Hammer's values. They have fixed that double damage bug, however the damage will remain higher than it was in the pre-Season 5 updates. So this has been fixed, and you can actually do the cool correct physics stuff again with the Gravity Hammer. The Bandit Evo and the M392 Bandit have had increased reload speed. It's not a very big jump, just 10% increased reload speed, but since this is the main utility ranked weapon, it definitely is going to have impacts in the sandbox. It has been a long time, but the Commando Rifle has seen a bit of a buff. The bloom now resets just a little bit faster. Not by much, but you can definitely feel the change. It's really solid on mouse if you're an MNK player. Heatwave had a little bit of a nerf where the aim assist has been decreased. They didn't change the damage values, just aim assist here. Stalker Rifle also saw a little bit of a nerf. It takes longer to vent once overheated, and it will require less shots before it overheats. The Plasma Pistol has had a couple of changes. They slowed the rate of fire down, it overheats faster, but now it requires less time to fully charge up. So they still want players to be able to use it with the single shot, style that most people have been using, but they have increased that charge up time so you can do the charge shot a little bit easier. And a very welcome change, if you play ranked, they have dropped the volume of the Bandit Rifle by 3 dB. That weapon was very loud. It's a little bit nicer now on the ears. Along with all of that, they talk about stability improvements to the game. And one very interesting change here is CSR, Deterministic Competitive Skill Rank Payouts. So if you are a CSR of 1800 or higher, you will now earn 7 CSR for every win and lose 7 CSR for every loss in ranked matchmaking playlists. So if you are one of those ultra high rank players, it looks like it's just shifting purely to a win-loss style model. I'm wondering if they're testing this first up at these upper echelons before they maybe distribute it to other players. I'm Diamond 3, so I'm fairly far away from 1800 at this point, but who knows, maybe we'll get there this season. And finally, they have added easy anti-cheat on the PC. What I will say here is I am not a fan of kernel-level anti-cheats. Giving anything that deep of access to your system, I'm just not a huge fan of it. But if this is helping and moving the needle in the right direction, cool. What is it, Arbiter? Is that the name of the anti-cheat, I think, in Halo Infinite? I still feel like they're going to have to do a lot of manual telemetry and band waves and those sort of things. I will say in my experiences, I don't really run into many instances of cheating. There's only been a few times in ranked where I'm like, did that guy have walls or something like that? But most of the time, again, at my ranked range, probably people aren't messing around and doing that. Now I want to briefly share my thoughts on the update as a whole. Really cool. Honestly, the network model overhaul is a great thing for players who are enjoying the game right now. But I'm going to shoot totally straight. Everybody wanted this update 3 or 4 months after the game launched. I know that's probably technically unrealistic and maybe unrealistic from a resources standpoint, but they would have retained, I think, a lot more players for Infinite if they had been able to deliver something like this a lot sooner. If you look at Steam charts, numbers are good, but it's not really moving the needle dramatically, and I don't think this is the type of update where tons of lapsed players are going to go, oh, now is the time, it's fixed, we're coming back. But I will share this, if you're watching this video, if you are a lapsed player and you haven't played in a while, this does make the game feel a lot better. Doesn't resolve everything, but it is a significant step in the right direction, and it's worth coming back and trying some of the great Forge content that the community has made. Balance changes all seem pretty positive to me. I'm curious to see how the Bandit reload speed buff will impact the competitive scene. That's a rather like niche thing, but really most of my time is spent in ranked. I don't necessarily enjoy sidekick AR starts. It's not my favorite, meta to go about and play over and over again unless I'm running with some friends. And I really think that competitive settings in Infinite are so good. And now that it's snappy and crisp, it's a wonderful place to go out there, just go grind. Speaking of that, if you didn't check out HCS Arlington, the first big esport event for Halo Infinite this last weekend, go check out the VOD. So many sick matches, man. I promise you will be a fan. Not just the competitive side of the game is killing it, though. The Forge and the customs and the community side is doing super well. I really hope that 343 isn't going to announce, like, the end of Halo Infinite support in just a few months, because I like where this game is at now. I love Halo. If you guys watch the channel, you know. There's a lot of FPS games we cover, but Halo, for the last decade and more, it's my favorite FPS franchise, and nothing compares to getting to play something like this. We've got the match composer coming. We still know that's being worked on. I just hope that we can get updates like these up until the point that the next Halo multiplayer game launches. I would hate to go through a big, long content drought again. It does kind of seem like, this is just my subjective opinion, when they made the announcement of content updates, it felt like it dropped, okay? They had such killer momentum with the season 4 and 5, and it just really was going so well. And then when they announced, okay, we're shifting to CU, I think most of the narrative that the broader, like maybe non-regular Halo players took was like, oh, they're done. They're moving on. It's over. And these kind of updates, like this is the most impactful update that we've probably had for Halo Infinite. In terms of how the actual game feels, your experience, it is one of the most important updates that we have gotten. People love to joke about all the clickbait titles for like Halo content, like this is the most significant update in the history of Halo. But this one kind of is for Halo Infinite. It's not going to be one of those flashy updates with crazy new maps or a big game mode that will pull a lot of lapsed players in. But what it does do is finally sort of make right a lot of the potential that this game could have had. So let me know what you think of this update. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more. We'll be playing and uploading this update quite a bit over the next few weeks. Let me know what part of the game you're enjoying the most. Are you doing ranked? Are you doing social? All that down below. Thanks very much. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you again very soon.